So mostly Americans' dreams are to not only be successful, but to have a family and just live life together in love and harmony. Most people think of this throughout a marriage. So the perfect outdoor venue, whether that's the perfect dress or suit for your spouse, all of your family there, everyone's happy, loving, and the road should be going up throughout everything from then on. But the sad truth is that although perfect marriages happen, emotional and physical abuse happens even after. For some of these people, most people live perfect lives, but perfect lives aren't always perfect. I'm going to show you some statistics about why domestic violence is a very big issue here in the United States. 1 in 4 women throughout the United States are physically abused, but 1 in 3 are killed throughout the year. These are numbers that we are just ignoring because most people, even in this room, that are through domestic violence and that are emotionally and physically abused, don't speak up because they have heartbroken homes and they are heartbroken in themselves. According to the National Coalition of Domestic Violence in the United States, every 20 minutes someone is physically abused, and over 43% of all people that are abused don't get medical attention. This is something that is costing us money, and causing pain throughout generations of people, even today. Now, our company is wanting to promote the fact that domestic violence is happening, and that we want to do something about it. Divya is going to explain who we are and why we want to do this.
Hi guys, we're Southwest Airlines, and today we're here to talk to you about an issue that's very close to our hearts, domestic violence. My name is Divya, and I'm the Research and Development Manager here at Southwest.
My name is Manoj, I'm the event coordinator here at Southwest.
My name is Riley, and I'm the financial advisor here at Southwest.
And before we go any further with this presentation, I'd like to talk a bit about what exactly domestic violence is. Domestic violence essentially is any sort of violent confrontation that takes place between family or household members. It can take many forms, including physical, verbal, sexual, emotional, and psychological. And not only does it affect the direct victims of the abuse, but it also affects their loved ones, their family members, and anyone around them. Domestic violence victims typically tend to withdraw within themselves, and this may cause them to not be ideal mothers or fathers or spouses, and that's not their fault, but it really does affect those around them. Typically, when people think of domestic violence, they only think of violence that occurs between husbands and wives, but that's not always the case. It can also take place between people in dating relationships, former spouses, anyone related by blood, so even children and their parents. But the thing is, more often than not, domestic violence isn't noticed until someone dies, and that's far too late. We here at Southwest would like to change this, and our main goals with this initiative are not only to raise awareness so the public is more cognizant of the symptoms of domestic violence, but also to raise money for Genesis Women's Shelter, an organization that truly has gone above and beyond in terms of helping those in need. Now let me tell you a bit about why we here at Southwest are truly the ideal candidates to carry out an initiative like this. Southwest Cares is an organization and a part of our website that truly encapsulates our mission statement, which is to have a dedication to the highest quality of customer service, delivered with a sense of warmth, friendliness, and company spirit. Southwest Cares is a whole section of our website dedicated to charitable giving, and anyone can reach out for aid. And if we think it's a valid cause, we'll do whatever we can to help. Just this year, we've donated millions of dollars to Hurricane Harvey victims and $20 million in national and local nonprofit organizations. And we even donate aid to families with military members. So what I'm trying to say is any initiative that Southwest undertakes, we will follow through with it. And I can assure you that that will be the case with our battle against domestic violence as well. Now, Riley will tell you a bit about the statistics of domestic violence and why it's so necessary that we take action immediately.
Now, earlier I discussed statistics in the United States, but Texas in itself is very sadly popular in regards to domestic violence. We have over 6.3 million people affected throughout their lives in domestic violence, whether that's physical, emotional, or verbal. Not only that, but 413,000 this year are affected. It could be any of you in this room, and there are plenty of other people in Texas that are affected. It costs us over $8 billion, which some people dream about earning, but all of that money, all of our money is going towards things that we can prevent and that we can cause to not happen. 100 people, 100 women specifically, are killed by their spouses in Texas alone. Think about that throughout the whole entire nation. But we're focusing on Texas because Southwest really cares about where we are incorporated and where we want to affect everyone throughout the Love Field Airlines. Now, not only does abuse happen physically, but there are other types, as I've mentioned before, including most popular, 43%, is emotional. That is whether that's just making fun of someone, either online or in person. And these are the things that drive people to death or even suicide. These are things that we have other programs that we want to prevent, but these are things that are caused not only just by people hating on each other, but it's caused by emotional abuse that we want to change currently. Now, Manoj is going to talk to us about what we're trying to do as well.
Alright, so we're going to be partnering up with Genesis Women's Shelter. It was a homeless shelter started in 1984, but since then it grew to have women and children who are victims of domestic abuse. Since then, it's been raising domestic abuse awareness across the DFW area. So what we're going to do with the Genesis Women's Shelter is we're planning a 5K. A 5K race is a popular event that many organizations use to promote an idea and to increase awareness. So in this case, we're going to be having a Southwest race against domestic abuse. And the details of this event will be who is anyone over the age of 10 and it's a 5K race, and we're going to ask for a minimum $10 donation from all the runners. And they could give more if they would like to. And where it's going to be located in Clyde Warren Park, it's going to start off in the northern lawn, where all the racers will meet up and start from there and run along the path drawn in the map. And when we chose Saturday, October 14, 2018, starting at 10 a.m. And since it's a Saturday morning, more runners will come, more people from the DFW will come, and also it'll be great weather since it's the beginning of October, and we're gonna have a lot of people show up. So the reason for this whole event is to raise awareness and donations towards this cause, so Southwest can use this to promote it in different ways. So this event will feature two guest speakers. One is Amber Heard, who's from Austin, Texas, a famous actress who has been going around nationally giving speeches and talks about against domestic abuse. Ever since her divorce with Johnny Depp, she has been going out against domestic abuse and calling herself as a victim of it and relating to her audience members with this issue. That's why she's a good proponent for this issue. And another guest speaker is Paige Flink, who's the executive director for another shelter in the DFW area called Family Place. And this is very similar to Genesis Women's Shelter, but has a slightly different reach. And the Family Place has been in place for a very long time. In fact, when it started, there was no law in Dallas protecting battered women. And since then, Family Place has been going and increasing awareness and making a lot of changes in the DFW area itself. But the other effort that we'll have is in the month of October is National Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Throughout this month, we're going to be having various activities to increase awareness and try to get more donations. We're going to have a big social media outreach and advertising campaign. And in our Twitter and Facebook, we have a lot of followers, so we're going to increase a lot of awareness about this issue and post almost every single day about domestic violence. And we're going to have a Snapchat filter, which is a popular way to increase awareness among the youth specifically. So more people will know about domestic violence and will be able to share with their friends. But we're going to have a huge advertising campaign. So with all the flights flying to our Love Field Airport in Dallas, we'll have an advertisement that will be aired in the flight, and so that all the people who take any Southwest Airlines will know about the serious issue. Now I'll be giving it to Divya to talk about follow-up events.
Now we realize that one day probably won't be enough to spur that much change, so we do have several follow-up events planned. Since we'll have all of our registrants' information in our database from when they sign up for the event, we plan to email a survey out about a week after the event, just asking them whether they feel the event was a success and whether they'd be interested in participating in more events against domestic violence. We'll also have several Southwest employees just milling around during the race, polling people, asking them about how their opinions have changed, and we definitely do hope to have an ongoing relationship with Genesis Heroes. This is an initiative that is part of Genesis that's aimed particularly towards men who would like to be more involved in the issue. So we'll be sending out a monthly newsletter with updates that this initiative has had, and our essential goal is just to have as many people as possible in the Southwest community take part in the fight against domestic violence. Now Riley will tell you a bit about the specific expenses that this event would entail.
As y'all can see, this is a hefty price that we were asking from the chairman here in Dallas. $60,000 is going to go towards advertising, which includes all of our social media, as well as the in-flight 30-second commercials that we're going to be airing. We're actually going to have Amber Heard come in to promote our run, just a fight against domestic violence. We have $10,000, so $5,000 each for each speaker to come out and support this cause. We have $25,000 in merchandise, which includes all the t-shirts we're going to be giving out, medals for every single person who participates. And then also, we have to rent out Clyde-Warren Park, which is going to cost around $3,000. Closing up the roads for our route is going to be $7,000. And with the help of our Dallas Police Department, it's going to cost around $500, which is going to be 5 officers on deck, willing to care and support for this race that we're going to run. Our first aid is actually going to be free due to the low cost of the event. And not only that, but Southwest is going to cover all liability with our race in regards to this event. So Genesis will not have to be liable in regards to this event. So we want to make sure that Southwest will be the name that really helps, and so we can also help Genesis as well. We're going to have $1,000 for restrooms and $10,000 for food and water, so we'll have water stations and food and beverages throughout the whole entire event, making it to $116,000 and $116,500,000. So we are asking you, Chairman, to donate $58,000. Southwest is willing to match that completely because throughout all of our events in the past, we know that we can truly and help and dedicate all of our resources towards this event that we feel like is going to be, needs to happen and needs to be popular.
In summation, we'd just like to say that for victims of domestic violence, Southwest truly is the somebody up there who loves you. Are there any questions? Thank you.